I'm excited to announce the opening of a new Facebook community for the Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life podcast. And this is to get a group of like minded individuals to get together, to push themselves, to actually hold each other accountable, and to level up their lives. I talk about making a positive impact in the world, and this is how I'm hoping to do that. So if you're interested in joining, jump on Facebook, look for Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life, and see if you can join the group. Otherwise, drop me a DM on Instagram at just.live.coaching and I'll send you the link. How many times have you started something and then you've struggled to stay committed to it because you haven't had someone there to hold you accountable, to check in on you? Welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast that empowers you to become the best version of yourself by giving you easy to implement techniques to start taking back control of your life. If you get something from this episode, please share it with someone who you think would benefit. And I would also really appreciate it if you could leave me a rating or a review. I'm Sanj, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's pivotal to your personal growth journey, and that is accountability. You often associate accountability with having someone to keep you in check. But what if I told you that it's actually more about you owning up to the commitments and promises that you've made to yourself? Accountability is not actually about you having someone there. It's not about you having someone to kick your butt when you need it. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about it. You believe that being accountable means having someone else hold you to your plans. You think of it as an external pressure to keep you on track. But the thing is true accountability actually starts from within you. Most people believe that they are more likely to achieve their goals when they have someone holding them accountable. However, that someone doesn't actually need to be an external figure. It can be yourself. We seem to believe all these misconceptions about accountability, but you need to really change your mindset on it. 3 of the biggest misconceptions about accountability that I seem to come across a lot is: 1, accountability is external. You believe that accountability is primarily about having someone else hold you responsible for your actions. While having someone external holding you accountable for your actions, it can be helpful, but true accountability actually starts from within. It's about you taking ownership of your choices, of your actions, of your promises, and regardless of whether others are there to help you monitor them. Another one is that accountability is a punishment. Accountability is actually synonymous with punishment or criticism, but true accountability is not about blame. It is not about you being judged. It's about acknowledging your responsibilities. Again, it's about you acknowledging your commitments and taking proactive steps to meet them. It's actually an empowering process that fosters your growth and your development rather than shame or guilt. And finally, the third misconception is that accountability is a one-size-fits-all. You may believe that there's only one right way to hold yourself accountable or to be held accountable by others, but accountability actually looks different for every single person, and what works for one person may not work for another. It is essential that if you want to be held accountable, if you are holding yourself accountable, you find the accountability system or the approach that aligns with your values, the one that aligns with your preferences and goals. Because if you don't, you're going to struggle. So which of those 3 misconceptions do you actually believe the most? Which one have you fallen into the trap of? Accountability is actually all about taking ownership of the promises you made to yourself. It's about being responsible for your actions, for your decisions, whether or not anyone else is watching. You are not the person who others see you as. You're not the person when others are around. That's not you. The real you is a person you are when there's no one around watching you, no one holding you accountable. You are that person who's deciding when there's no one to show up for, whether you're showing up for yourself. So personal responsibility is actually you holding yourself accountable. You are responsible for the outcomes of your choices and your actions. So instead of blaming external factors or circumstances, you need to start taking personal responsibility and recognize your role in shaping your life. And then your integrity as well. Part of your ownership is your integrity. Owning up to the commitments would demonstrate your integrity and your honesty. It shows that you value your word and you're willing to follow through on what you say, even when it's challenging, even when you don't feel like it. And when you're then taking ownership, it's empowering. By taking ownership of your actions, it empowers you to create positive changes in your life. By accepting that responsibility, you gain a sense of control. You gain that control over your circumstances, which allows you to make more intentional choices that align with your goals and values. By taking ownership, you actually view setbacks and failures as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than excuses for not taking action. You take ownership of your mistakes, you reflect on what went wrong, and you use that knowledge to improve and to move forward. And by taking ownership, you end up achieving your goals, because when you take ownership of your goals and hold yourself accountable for making progress, you increase your likelihood of succeeding. Accountability is about recognizing your power to shape your own life, and you taking the proactive steps to create the outcomes that you desire. By embracing that ownership, you empower yourself to live a life with purpose, with integrity, a life with resilience. But the problem is taking that ownership is hard. It's difficult. It's not something that we do easily, and we struggle with it. How many times have you struggled to take that ownership, even if it's not a big thing? You struggle to take ownership because there are so many threats when you take that responsibility. It's because we fear failure. So your fear of failure is actually part of the reason why you don't want to take ownership. That fear that you're not going to be able to fulfill the promises, leading to disappointment or embarrassment. So you don't want to take ownership. Your lack of self-trust in yourself. Yeah, if you have a history of breaking promises to yourself or even others, you may actually lack trust in your own abilities to follow through. So again, this erodes your self-confidence, and it makes it difficult for you to take ownership of anything. The next reason is because when you take ownership, you know that you're going to be pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone, and you don't want to do that. You want to stay within that comfort zone where it feels safe, where it feels comfortable, where it feels familiar. And staying in that zone is easier than taking risks and pushing yourselves to fulfill those promises. So by not taking ownership, you actually resist stepping out of that comfort zone. And then another one is because of lack of clarity and planning. This is an interesting one because, again, you don't take ownership because you don't plan. So when you don't have a clear goal or a clear plan of action, it's easy for you to not want to take ownership. It's easy for you to lose sight of your promises and become overwhelmed with uncertainty because you don't know what you need to be doing, when you need to be doing it, and where you need to be doing it. The answers to those three questions, what, when, and where, can be answered by changing the W to a T. You need to be doing that, then, and there. So when you don't take ownership, you may struggle to make any progress. So you need to start addressing these underlying challenges and develop strategies to overcome them. And I'll be giving you 4 ways in which you can do that. But by overcoming them, you can cultivate a bigger sense of ownership to make those promises to yourself and live up to them. To take those meaningful steps towards achieving your goals. And it will include things by you building self-trust, you setting realistic expectations, you creating an accountability system, external and internal, and also you developing resilience. But as I said, I'm going to give you 4 tips here which you can implement to actually help you take ownership of your life. Number 1 is set goals that you love, because if you love the target, you're going to put in the work, you're going to take ownership to actually get yourself there. If you make a goal because you believe it's the right thing to do, because everyone else around you is doing it, it holds no bearing on you. It doesn't actually light you up. You feel you're being forced to do it, so you're not going to take ownership because you have no vested interest. So set a goal that you love, one that is going to keep you motivated, wake you up every day with excitement, with passion, with purpose. The next thing is to create a support system around you. Make sure you surround yourself with people who will support and encourage your journey. But also make sure that not just them, you are your biggest support system. These people around you, these are there to help you when you're struggling yourself. So make sure you've got that support system, but make sure you don't depend on it as much as you depend on yourself. Number 3 is track your progress. When you start to track your progress, it is a lot easier to take ownership because you know that you're showing up daily. When you start to get on a roll, when you start to hit 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row of showing up consistently, you're not going to want to break that streak. And finally, practice self-reflection. When you're taking ownership, take time to reflect on your actions and your decisions. Learn from your successes, learn from your failures. Learn everything you can, because then it's easier for you to take ownership when you've got more knowledge, because you feel more confident in yourself. So that's what I've got for you. The truth about accountability is that it's not about waiting for someone else to hold you accountable. It's about you taking the reins of your life and steering it towards your desired destination. It's about you taking ownership. What promises will you make to yourself today, and how will you hold yourself accountable to fulfill them in the future? Remember, your mindset shapes your reality. When you master it, you'll master your life. My mission is to make a positive impact on the world, and I sincerely hope that you listeners can help me do that by liking, by following, by sharing and subscribing to this podcast. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep mastering your mindset to master your life. Thank you.